Hello, this is Jay Mitchell, and we are back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast, going over all the posts on the Libertarian Uncensored subreddit. So first we have central banks brought inflation, now they bring stagnation from Mises.org, and that's by Chavane, and I said, not the first time they have brought both, and I linked to the Wikipedia page for stagflation, because, that's what might be coming soon as well, Central banks always seem to, screw up everyone, and they've been doing that for decades now, over a century in the U.S. I think the Federal Reserve was established in 1913, it only keeps on getting worse, and inflation keeps on getting worse, I think the U.S. dollar is worth, 0.10 of what it was in 1913. That just goes to show you how bad central banks are, because inflation are always going to give you inflation, and that's not good, because they always print money. I like what Shamane's reply was to me, all hail St. Pale. It just goes to show you that I don't think it really matters who the chair is, they're always just going to be printing money and giving us more inflation regardless of who they are. Then we have Clarence Thomas is committing tax fraud from Jacobin.com by Whittling Dan. And I said, didn't know we had a libertarian streak in him. And Whittling Dan replied, fraud is libertarian now. I said, not being forced to pay taxes is. I personally don't think you should commit tax fraud or tax evasion, but, I don't think you should be forced to pay taxes either, so if you want to justify that, I think you should be able to, so that's my thoughts on that issue, especially since you don't know where your tax money is going to. It could be going to studying transgender monkeys, or Israel, or another cause you don't support, and that's something that I think people need to always remember when it comes to taxation. Then we have some links I found helpful from Doctor Who 07, and they said, reviewing deleted comments / posts and link to Reddit, but I check them for resources, 2 different links as I find cross-posting useful, and that's the link to Media Bias Fact Check and AllSides.com, Archive for Getting Around Paywalls, Archive.is, Logical Fallacies, LogicalFallacies.com, Image Reverse Search from Tinai.com. Some of these are extensions for Firefox or Chrome as well. Please post any you found for useful in the comments. And I think that's good, I think anyone should be able to use whatever they want when it comes to the internet, as long as no one's hurt. Some things, might hurt people, but, I think, some stuff that might hurt people, like, child porn or abuse videos should be kept on the dark web. But other than that, I think, the internet's a good tool for analyzing data and sharing data, I would say. And that's why I think it's been such a boon for humanity. And that's why I think the elites want to get rid of the free and open internet as soon as possible, because it's a threat to their power, and it's increasingly proven to be so. Then we have Benjamin Netanyahu reportedly wants Alan Dershowitz to represent Israel at genocide hearing in The Hague from NewRepublic.com by Whittling Dan. That's a crossword from the r/law subreddit. And, yeah, I think, Alan Dershowitz, I think he was just named on the Epstein client list, and, yeah, I don't think that's good, I don't think, Alan Dershowitz is a very libertarian fellow, and that's something that, I think we need to, remember when we look at him. Then we have a right-wing tale of Michigan election fraud had it all except proof from Washington Post from Baton 13. And, yeah, I think, if you want to say there's election fraud, you should be able to, but I think you need to prove it as well if you want people to believe it. But then again, the Democrats, they kind of did the same thing back in Trump's tenure. They were always like, oh, Russian interference, voter suppression. They could never prove those either. So it just goes to show you that that people will just say whatever buzzwords they want in order to justify that they should be in power, because power is ultimately what they want. They don't care about the facts, only about the power. And the internet has increasingly shown that, I would say. Then we have Appeals Court deals blow to California City from the EpicTimes.com by Chabane. And I said, I'm going to comment on this one, but I'm glad that we had the court ruled ruled right here, because ultimately we shouldn't be trying. This is about it's one California city's big gas stove ban. Which city it is? Let's see. Apparently it's Berkeley, California, and I don't think if you want to have gas stoves, I think you should be able to, and that's something that I think people should have whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anyone else. So that's my thoughts on that issue. So I think that's good. Then we have Harvard president's resignation highlights new conservative weapon against colleges, plagiarism, from the Associated Press on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, and people wonder why no one treats the alphabet media seriously anymore. And I like what Calgary Reply said. The Calgary replied, "It's interesting that flaw in repeating someone else's verified information is being treated as a heavily flaw in the conservative world, compared to the repetition of information that's being repeatedly confirmed misinformation, disinformation, or plain old lies. Security have shown a single case of anyone's work being correct, just improperly cited." And I said, "You are just like the AP making excuses for gay. It's really sad that a once trusted institution like them has been revealed for the frauds they are." Then we have, this is the best way to handle the work rights right now. Let's state style from Angela McCardle on Twitter, and I posted that, and that was her reply to a tweet from the redheaded Libertarian. The articles of the Constitution are sound immigration. The federal authority is limited to selling naturalization laws. The 10th Amendment says undelegated powers are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. The Biden regime has no authority to mess with Texas. And I would kind of agree with that. I would personally say that I would argue let each individual decide what the answer is rather than the states. If they want to enforce the border and have the means to do so, I think they should be able to. And then Schmoop12 replied, "Every person has their own border, please take your meds." And I said, personal space is a thing, yes. Ultimately, if a person wants to enforce a border or property rights, I think that's on them. I don't think it's the state's job. Of everything, I want the individual's job. The individual wants to enforce whatever they want. If the people, I personally don't care for any non-individual borders, but it should be up to each individual what borders they want to enforce. So that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have, it didn't even take one day to directly contradict himself from Carl Benjamin on Twitter, also known as Sargon of Akkad. That's his, what a lot of people also know him as. And he's showing, it's like kind of like a defined out. So on January 2nd, Mark Lamont Hill posted, "Next president of Harvard University must be a black woman." Then yesterday, January 3rd, 2024, he posted, "This is the problem." He replied to Gary Callahan, who said, "Okay, you go with Callahan Stone." He says, "This is the problem. You really think black people are interchangeable." And I said, "Essentialists, race, gender, etc. love supporting those leading oppressed, but only if they agree with all the established narrative. He wants a black woman only for race and gender attributes. Doesn't want one when she thinks what he deems to be the wrong way." And then Travel Side Superman replied to that, "Is it maybe possible that a person who has not completed a college degree is not suited to run an elite university or any piece of learning? And also, it doesn't matter if he doesn't still want a black woman. Surely you don't think that he believes every black woman is qualified to run Harvard for a dual reason of being black and a woman." And I said, he thinks every black woman who says the correct impulse narratives, as though that's the point I'm getting at. Ultimately, if you say the right things and check the DEI check boxes, you're going to be in the clear when it comes to him. And that's what we're increasingly seeing when it comes to race/gender essentialism and all the identitarianism we see today. Ultimately, people don't care about anything as long as you say the right things and have the right attributes. Of course, if you dare go against narratives and you have those attributes, then you're a race traitor, gender traitor, etc., etc. And that's, I'll just go show you, they say they're open-minded and tolerant for diversity, but they really don't. The one diversity they really can't stand is diversity of opinion. Then we have, "They're not stupid, they're correct. Elites are often immune, not just from the rules, but from such laws as child abuse and murder," from Michael Malice on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, "When you enforce the rules, you often don't have to care about abiding by any of them. It's classic pirates and emperors, when the individual does something, when the individual in a position of non-state or social power or non-state social institutional power does something, they're gonna be held accountable. When the individual in positions of power, they'll never be held accountable. And you can see that with President Gay. She resigned. I personally think she could have waited for it to blow over, but I hear her salary is still the same. So I guess she just wanted the news cycle to move on. She's still. I linked to a Fox Business article, and that says let's see. I linked to it says she'll still get tons of money. I said the Fox Business article says Claudine Gay to continue as Harvard faculty member, likely to keep $900,000 salary, and that just goes to show you that it doesn't really matter what if Harvard wants to pay her, I think she should be able to, but ultimately she's not really be held accountable at all when it comes to purely monetary reasons. Just when it comes to not being the president anymore, and even then, I think she still could have waited it out, but I'm not her, so I don't know. Then we have don't forget, despite claiming to be against the Iraq War, he hired one of its chief architects in John Bolton during his time in office. And that's my reply. Was my reply to Josh Eagle tweeted, Trump's anti-war because he didn't start any new wars. Trump wanted to pull off Afghanistan. Steve Tate wouldn't let him. Trump would have made peace in Ukraine on day one by being impeached for reviving them. It's the military's fault that Trump killed times more civilians and drone strikes than Obama. Trump was about to reunify Korea. He just needed more time. And then it's the Pepe with the MAGA hat inhaling all the copium. I mean, with that. And then I said the quote I said earlier, don't forget, despite claiming to be against the Iraq War, every one of his chief architects in John Bolton during his time in office. A politician being a hypocrite, who could have seen that coming? Besides everyone, that's all politics really is, just constant hypocrisy, and you really see that these days. Trump did eventually fire him, but after well over a year, he was there for over a quarter of his tenure as POTUS, and, that's why I think, you shouldn't have, even some markets and sometimes people like Trump, you always have to follow what they're doing. Even, especially if they hire swamp creatures like John Bolton in there, despite promising to drain the swamp. Then we have the Jeffrey and Epstein files have been unsealed. We have the documents here, the most important John Does. We start with Bill Clinton, John Doe 36, whose deposition was essentially to provide info on his relationship with Maxwell Epstein from Technofog on Twitter, and Chauvenet posted that, and I said, apparently Bill Clinton was in there, Prince Andrew, Michael Jackson, Tom Pritzker, Glenn Dubin. I even heard Oprah and Stephen Hawking. No Donald Trump, though. I think the people are hyping up that Donald Trump was on the island, but I don't know if he was in there, but I think he's probably guilty as well, I would say. All the elites are probably on that island. That's the thing. As Michael Malice said, they can get away with it since they have institutional power. Well, the common man couldn't. If I was on that list, I'd already be in prison for life. But, Bill Clinton's on the list, and, he'll be fine because he has the narrative on his side and the institutional power on his side. Then we have Chicago led nation in homicides for 12th year in a row in 2023. Murder rate still 5 times higher than NYC's, from wirepoints.org by Chauvenet. And I think that just goes to show you that, it's kind of like a narco-tyranny. Some people are held to the full extent of the law, but other people, they increasingly just are allowed to commit any crimes they want. And, I don't think that's libertarian, I think libertarians believe in, when it comes to crime, we should be stopping crime, not just turning the other way. And that's what increasingly they do in cities with Soros-funded DAs like Chicago or Philadelphia. Then we have the FBI tainted Whitmer kidnap plot you've heard nothing about from RealClearInvestigations.com by Chauvenet. And I like what their comment was from 2007 Charm. He 2007 Charm commented, remember kids, if you're new drinking vice, just kidnapping the governor, he's probably a Fed. And I'd agree with that. A lot of political violence in the U.S. I would say is federal entrapment, if not the majority or all of it, I would say. Then we have New York State bill attempts to prevent out-of-state ammo sales to New York residents from nysenate.gov by Chabanay. And I don't think that's libertarian. I think you should be able to sell whatever you want to. I don't think the state should have a say otherwise. Then we have plagiarism is now a conservative weapon, says the AP from 2009 with Charm. And that's a tweet from Cody Sargent. And I replied, and I said earlier, and people wonder why no one treats the alpha media seriously anymore because they've been exposed for the frauds they are. Then we have everyone who's looking to get in stocks this year from Commissar David on YouTube. And that's a video from Breaking Points. And they said insider trading is the best trading, and since all their trading data is public, there is no reason that you can't copy their trades and make profit off the stuffing of others. At the end of the day, politicians are always come up on top in the stock market, so why can't you? This is sarcasm attributes rather as their insider trading undermines free market and should be banned. And I'll comment. The problem is that they are in positions of state power and you aren't. Positions. You will be held accountable when they won't be. It's classic pirate snippers. Then we have, does AP really think conservatives invented plagiarism accusations from Reason.com? I do have a charm. And I said, and people wonder why no one treats the alpha media seriously anymore. Ultimately, they'll just say that anything attack on them is a right-wing tactic or a far-right excuse to discredit them, and that's why no one treats them seriously anymore. As I said earlier, they've been revealed for the frauds they are. Then we have Kosovo song from Damien DCLXVI on YouTube, and that's a bunch of Norwegian soldiers dancing to the party as the song Kosovo of the song Kokomo by the Beach Boys. And I said always fought songs libertarian critique of U.S. interventionism. Bob Rivers, the song's writer, said as much. The intent of the song was to mock my own country for its bullying ways around the world. The idea was to point out how casually the U.S. plays world police. The song takes on the persona of the U.S. government, ridiculing the fact that we push others around with much concern. And I linked to the Wikipedia page for the song. And I said, that's pretty much how the U.S. does. The U.S. will be the world police, and despite how much a lot of U.S. citizens don't care for that, it doesn't really matter, as they are in positions of authority and we aren't. And that looks like it's how it's going to be forever at this point, because no one, even if the candidate markets themselves as being anti-world police and anti-globalist and anti-war like Trump, they'll still do the same shit when they get into office. And that just really goes to show you they really are all interchangeable. And I think we're going to wrap it up there. I'll see you guys in this episode. Bye.